What's up guys, Shane Starnes here, and I've been using the Galaxy S21 Ultra as my main device for the past week. And I know that you've already seen these battery drain tests where they kind of put a phone on a table and run it on Wi-Fi with a video playing for hours on end. And let's just be real, that's not how you use your phone on a daily basis. In this video, I'm going to show you guys my real life usage from a power user standpoint and what real battery life looks like on the Galaxy S21 Ultra. Let's go ahead and get started. This video is sponsored by VIPKeysell.com. Are you looking for an affordable Windows 10 license? Look no further than this video's sponsor, VIPKeysell.com. You can get Windows 10 Pro for about $15. First, enter my discount code, then place the order, open Windows settings, click Update and Security, next click Activation, and finally click Change Product Key. Then just enter the activation key and you are good to go. Now you can enjoy Windows 10 Pro. Thanks again to VIP Keysell for sponsoring the video. I'll leave the link below in the description. I've been using this on adaptive brightness. So adaptive brightness has been turned on. That can affect battery negatively just because no matter where you are, and I spend most of my day outside in the bright sun, it's going to cause the screen brightness to go way up. So if you wanted to save battery, you could turn this off and turn the battery level down. And then also, if we jump into display settings, I've had mine on adaptive, so it's been able to reach those 120 hertz refresh rate. It jumps between 10 and 120 hertz refresh rate depending on what you're doing, so that you always have a smooth motion, you know, for scrolling and things like that. And then on my resolution, I've kept it at QHD+. There again, you can save battery life by going down to 720p or full HD, but you don't want a phone like this. It's a $1,200 phone. I'm going to utilize a QHD Plus display. All right, so we'll go ahead and look at my battery life. It is currently 6 o'clock in the evening. I pulled this off the charger at 7 o'clock and I'm at 42%. If we go into the settings and battery and device care and battery, and we'll go to usage since last full charge. It's been off the charge for almost 11 hours, and currently I'm at 3 hours and 15 minutes of screen on time. If you take a look at what I've used today, I've used YouTube in the background, so I was streaming audio and podcasts. Life 360 is an application that I've found drains a ton of battery. So every day it's using about 10% of my battery. So your results will actually be better than what I have here if you're not using this Life 360 app. It's just something that me and my family, we heavily rely on. I've got kids and I want to keep everybody safe. So we definitely use this Life 360 app, but it is a battery drainer. So if it wouldn't have been for the Life 360 app, at 6 o'clock in the evening, I'd be at 50% battery life. The Google Podcast app, I'm not really sure why it's not showing up in my usage, but I listen to podcasts on the Google Podcast app for at least 2 hours today. So that also has to be considered in my usage. So that's for today. Right, so I also took screenshots of usage for the past several days. So I'll go into my gallery. So at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, about lunchtime, I had my phone off the charge for almost 7 hours and I was still at 76%. I had about an hour of screen on time. There again, Life 360 killing the battery. And you can see the rest of my usage halfway through the day. At 5:30, I was at 10 hours and 15 minutes off charge with 2 hours of screen on time, still at 60% with 10% already drained from Life 360. So without this app, I would have been at 70% with 2 hours of screen on time. At that rate yesterday, I would have easily approached 6 to 7 hours of screen on time. You can see the rest of the usage. And then finally at 10:38, I had almost 4 hours of screen on time with 40% left. Life 360 had drained plenty of battery, so you could have called this 50% had I not used Life 360 with almost 4 hours. At that rate, I would have easily gotten 7 to 8 hours of screen on time yesterday. Another thing that I want to mention is I'm finding that if you're not actively using this phone, it just barely sips the battery. So if you leave it alone for 2 or 3 hours, you'll find that only 1 or 2% of your battery has actually left. So you're actually only using battery when you are actively using the phone. If we go to Sunday at 4:30, I had the phone off charge for 9.5 hours with 2 hours of screen on time and 63% of usage. I had spent 30 minutes on TikTok, 26 minutes on Chrome surfing the web, and 3% of my battery life had been used up by Life 360. You can see the rest of my usage here, YouTube for 11 minutes, Twitter for 10. At 7:30 in the evening, I had been off charge for 12.5 hours, 3 hours of screen on time at 50%. There again, Life 360 had used up 4% of my battery, and you guys can see the usage here. All right, and this was June 30th. At 2:16, I had been off charge for 6.5 hours with 1 hour and 45 minutes of screen on time, 66%. 21 minutes of YouTube, 17 minutes of Twitter, 14 minutes of Chrome. Life 360 had already used up 3% of my battery. Towards the end of the day here, at 10:14, I had been off charge for 14.5 hours with 2.5 hours of screen on time at 43%. Life 360 had used 5% of my battery, but you can see the rest of my usage here. And then at 1:06 a.m., I had been off charge for 17 hours and 32 minutes with 5 hours of screen on time. I still had 20% battery life, and you can see my usage here. I would have been at 24% battery life if I had not been using the Life 360 application. So on this day, I could have easily gotten to 6 or 7 hours of screen on time. I want to mention that I have all of the battery draining things turned on. So 5G has always been enabled, and I do have 5G in the city where I live, so that does take up some battery. I've kept 120 hertz on, and I've kept QHD plus display on, and I've even used, battery draining apps like Life 360, and I'm easily able to get 6 to 7 hours of screen on time. I could probably push this with some adjustments and settings up to 8 to 10 hours of screen on time. I'm definitely getting great battery life out of the S21 Ultra, and depending on how you use this phone, you could also get amazing, incredible battery life out of the S21 Ultra. But anyhow, guys, what are your thoughts on the battery life that I've been able to get over the past week? Let me know in the comments below. Did you expect more out of this phone? Did you expect less out of this phone? I have to say, when compared to the S20 Ultra from last year, and especially the Note 20 Ultra, the battery life has seen a major improvement. That's probably due to the fact that it has a Snapdragon 888 processor, which is 30% more efficient. But so far, I've been very pleased with battery life on this phone. That about wraps it up for this video. Thanks guys for watching. Be blessed. I'll see you in the next one.